These Catholic priests, boy, they taught the cake. They had a system set up perfectly, and I'm sure it's still set up.
Yeah.
Where you can rape children and get away with it.
Yeah, go to another church and rape some more. And like I said, I think this has been going on for centuries, though. And centuries.
I'm sick in my damn stomach, man. Just reading some of this stuff earlier, and like the first story I was saying, where the priest was called in. Jay, God, man, what if you called a priest to come pray over your child that's going into surgery, and they raped them in the hospital?
Nigga gotta die, dog.
In the hospital.
Yeah, that's where he's gonna end up at. So you might as well just stay.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't have nobody to turn to. The cops don't want to listen to them. All these schools not listening to the victim. I feel so bad for these victims. They can't do nothing.
But tell your story. And you could sue the church. Because Vatican got money. They got cake.
Oh, yeah, they do.
You can sue them.
They got loan money.
And you'll get your money's worth, but you got to shut up. Oh, so, it's kind of... like you said, we've been watching a lot of CNN, and that's another thing that pisses me off about CNN. All they talk about is dumbass Daffy Donald Duck ass. But every blue moon they'll talk about
serious story.
For like
it's
4
not
minutes,
getting covered enough.
4 minutes. Let's back to Donald.
You have
Daffy
a system
Duck
of priests preaching the word of God that's supposed to give you the ultimate protection, and they're taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Raping children. This should be talked about everywhere. BET.
No.
MTV.
No.
CNN.
No.
Fox Sports.
No.
All your local news. And I'm not seeing it nowhere, and it pisses me it pisses me off.
I feel you. It's just not, nobody cares.
That's what we here for. We took on Penn State. Like I said, I told the story plenty of times. They didn't call me to take down the podcast, so they kiss my ass. I ain't taking
Freedom
nothing
of
down.
speech.
Took on Michigan State. I was blessed enough to talk to a lawyer. I didn't hear back from Michigan State. This is fine. If I got to take on a Catholic priest, so be it. You know who? You know what? It's gonna be me and God versus the priest. How about that? Let's go.
That Pope land that G5 jet.
Land it, Pope. I'll make sure my kids are gone.
The man in black stuff out.
Dang, boy.
Tyler Butler.
Dang, this is crazy, man.
It is. It's a different.
That's all I got, guys. I
don't know. John McCain passed away today.
Oh man.
Yeah. About an hour ago.
Dang.
Yeah. See.
Well, rest in peace, John McCain.
Daffy Donald Duck. He's probably celebrating that.
Probably
right
is.
Because he didn't like John McCain.
He went to war for us, man. Thank you for everything you've done for this country, Mr. McCain.
Of course.
I didn't know you personally.
No.
But I respect anyone that took time in the military to defend the country.
We didn't vote for him, but him and
Nah, you didn't get my vote.
But him and Obama had a peaceful, civil,
very civil
presidential run. And that's something this new guy could maybe kind of take a page out of Mr. John McCain's book.
There needs to be a much larger investigation on this Catholic priest situation. Or is it too big to investigate? Are they like the Illuminati and they just
That's
untouchable?
What I'm thinking, though. Yeah, it's just like
they're the highest level of church members.
Yeah.
So I guess they're just untouchable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And it's a lot of money to be made. They got their own city.
Unfreaking believable.
What religion has their own city?
Yeah.
And the headquarters is the entire city. So,
Where's God when you need him? Burn that shit down. Oh, sorry.
This may be the beginning. We don't
Sorry.
know.
I didn't mean to cuss this much, man.
It's alright. It's rated R, dog. Shit, this is rated R. What you was just reading, so those few little cuss words, you good, dog. You good.
Guys, I don't know what the next show gonna be about, but I definitely wanted to bring that to you because a lot of people didn't know the details of the podcast and they didn't know a lot of details of the story. I just wanted to bring it out. I'm going to end this podcast with some of the victims talking about this situation. I found a soundbite where they interviewed 7 of the victims from these priests. It is very, very telling. I loved it, and I'm going to play it for you. Jay, before we end the show off, man, you got anything else?
Nah, nothing. Nothing right now.
Well, everybody, once again, whether you're listening on iTunes, iHeartRadio, MySportsCulture.com, or X Squad Affiliates Radio, thank you for tuning in. This has been Enough with the BS Podcast with Tyler and Josh. Please listen to the outro.
Good morning.
Good morning. Dozens of priests implicated in the highly anticipated report have gone to court to try to keep their names from being made public. Survivors and their families tell us they've suffered through decades of trauma. They believe the report's release will be an important milestone in their fight for justice.
It's a voice for the voiceless.
It felt like the first time somebody really listened.
This report is me getting my life back, saying, these are the evil bastards that stole my life.
Sean Doherty, Julianne Bortz, Jim Van Sickle, Mary McHale, James Faluzak, and Judy Devon are among the more than 100 people who spoke to the Pennsylvania grand jury. Their stories fill a nearly 900-page report. How old were you when your abuse began?
I was 10.
13, 14.
16 through 18.
17, 18.
16.
My son was 15 when it started. His hell was right here on earth.
Judy Devon says the death of her son Joey 3 years ago can be traced to what happened to him as a teenager.
Because of the way he was, and I'm not going to say abused, I'm going to say the way he was raped. At age 17, his back was injured. There was nothing they could do surgically. And because of the pain medication, his death was caused by an accidental overdose.
The word abuse gets thrown around. We're talking rapes.
Julianne Bortz and Mary McHale both say they were molested by priests at their Catholic high schools.
My abuser, when he took his collar off, he told me that he could do whatever he wanted to do.
And you believed him, your child.
And I believed him, yeah.
The collar is still a trigger for me. They murdered something in me. Something died. Everything I believed died.
How many of you believe that right now a child is being abused at the hands of a priest? How does this happen?
It appears that there's something in the DNA of the church that encourages this.
James Faluzak says he witnessed the church's secrecy and sex abuse cover-ups firsthand, not only as a victim, but also during his 18 years in the priesthood. You became a priest after being abused by one. Why?
I felt called to be a priest, and it was almost as if it was a completely separate issue. As I made my way through ministry, it became very clear to me that this was a systemic issue, almost like a contagion, that this was an epidemic.
Jim Van Sickle claims his high school English teacher, Father David Polson, groomed and sexually assaulted him from 1979 to 1982. He came forward this year after learning Polson is facing trial on criminal charges for abusing, in the early 2000s, 2 other boys.
Who are within the statute of limitations. I don't have the right to do that because he's protected by law as
How does that
as
feel?
a predator.
You actually could see
Anger, frustration. You finally get to a point where you're willing to say, it's time for me to come and get you. And the law says, sorry, you're abused, but we're going to protect the predator here.
Father Polson's attorneys tell CBS News he is entitled to the presumption of innocence and is saddened by the allegations against him. Do you think the statute of limitations should be completely eliminated?
Absolutely.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My statutes of limitation ended for my abuse, but to me, they're re-abusing me right now.
I want the right to stand in court and face my abuser.
And say?
just have him go through the court process, tell my story, make him listen to me. I would say to him, why did you do this to me? And I believe his answer is going to be, because I can.